Hey guys, CRL Rosberg back at it again for another video. This time I'm commentating how incredible we've been. I don't know, got through about 6 videos and I ain't commentated in about 2 months, but you know what, F1 2019, new game, new me. We're back commentating over a league race, the first league race in also a good couple of weeks, and F1 2019, what a game, am I right boys? This is URC, if you guys don't know, United Racing Championship, I think it's called, I'm not quite sure, but we're at Austria. I can probably explain why we're at Austria later, but let's talk you through this qualifying lap at the end of the session. So coming into turn 1, you're going to be in 8th gear, you're going to brake between the 150 meter board, turn in 8th gear, or 4th gear. You want to take a bit of curb, you can actually get away with a corner cut, but didn't exactly do it to fruition, and we got a bit of oversteer as well on exits, so that kind of hindered our run. After the 100 meter board, you want to brake, go into 1st gear when you're on the pad, upshift into 2nd, no need to short shift into hot lap, and want to get into 7th gear, you want to be into overtake. Right, coming into turn 4, you're going to look for that Rolex banner, going to brake down into 2nd gear to try and get the car rotated, upshift to 3rd to get the traction, into 4th, staying in high throughout this middle sector. Coming into turn 5, I believe this is, you want to use that orange barrier on the right as your turn in point, 4th gear up to 5th into 6th, turn in before the road ends on the right, and yeah, just swing it in 4th gear if needed. 7th gear, you're going to be into hot lap coming into here. After the 15 meter board, you want to turn in a little bit too early, but it's okay. Into 4th gear for the final corner, and that is a lap of Austria, and it's going to be a 1 minute 4.5. Not the greatest lap, but at the moment that did put us on provisional pole position. But as you can see, just at the end, OMG It's Joe pit me with a, I say pit me, he did a 4.2. My PB was a 4.1, but we'll just let that slide, I think. Last sector kind of cost me, but Joe got pole ahead of myself, overkills, Miro Leopards, and I didn't get time to go through the rest of it. Yeah, URC, I've only done like 2 videos on it since. If you guys were familiar with ULC, it was a United League Championships, I think. Basically where you got a group of leagues together that would race with 2 drivers in a team to see, well, which league was the best. This time it was esport teams, or just teams in general. I represent VSR, if you guys don't know, Visercal Sim Racing. I could be wrong. Links are down below to whatever I represent. If I ever get a sponsor, then that'll be down there, but imagine me getting a sponsor. This was the first league race I've done on this game. I think this is the first league race for pretty much everyone in this lobby. This is my second 50% race. I did one a couple of days ago at Belgium AOR Social, but yeah, in the wet as well, so first league race, the tensions are high, the weather is dull to say the least, but we're going to be preparing for the 5 red lights when they appear. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5 red lights for the first league race of F1 2019. It's lights on, away we go. We get a very average start. Joe gets a bolter off the start, he immediately defends the inside line, trying to make sure that we don't come around it, but we're going around the outside. We're going to have to back out of it. There was no way we're going to make it around the outside of turn 1, no chance. As you can see in the slipstream though, as we head through the little kink that is turn 2, into turn 3, we're going to be trying to spot our braking point in the slipstream as well. Picking the braking point, but Joe brakes very early. We're going to have to pop it up his inside and make a bit of contact, a la Verstappen and Leclerc just a few days ago. Warning for collision with OMG It's Joe, but we have taken the lead. A little bit skeptical on whether how legal that move was, but I think we're just going to have to let that slide. Joe brakes very late, trying to get his position back, but he goes wide, and that is us into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix for URC. Didn't expect that, to be honest, but if you guys know me, my starts are usually one of the best, and I don't know what happened, I just couldn't get off the line, to be honest. There was just nothing there. But Joe, fucking hell, he bolted off it. I'm not sure if he just reacted a bit quicker, or perhaps it was just, maybe he short shifted up, I don't know. But the first lap of F1 2019 League Racing, and it's us in the lead with the fastest lap as well, as you would expect from someone that's led on the first lap. And coming through turn 1, at this point, everything from here on out is just a learning experience. Nobody really practices for the wet conditions, and you know, when you get thrown into a scenario where all you've been doing is practicing for the dry, and you get thrown into the wet, it's just learning. And this is like the first 2 weeks of the game being released. You know, I don't even know if it's 2 weeks, first week even of the game being released. It's all learning experiences, like when you get thrown into a wet league race, especially when it's the first one of the season. Well, not the first race of the season. But Joe, he's coming around our outside now. We're defending the inside like Leclerc should have done, and we're going to squeeze him out of road like Verstappen should have done, cleanly, and trying to defend our position. As you can see, on the mini-map, we've got a bit of a gap to LCR Leopard, who's also a very quick driver in his own right. Joe pops his nose up the inside. We lose the rear end as he gives us a little bit of a love tap, and as you can see now, we're just forfeiting that little advantage that we had, which we built up over the first 3 laps. I think Leopard was getting into a bit of a scrap with VSR Overkills, my teammate, or my VSR teammate. He's not in the same car as me. VSR having 2 teams, one in the Haas, one in the Toro Rosso, but as you can see, skipping on a couple of more laps, Leopard is right on the back of us now, and my pace has kind of dropped off. The weather, it's kind of fluttering between light rain to heavy rain. It did say on the graphic that it was going to be light rain to heavy rain, and it would come back to light rain, so there is no need to go into the wet, although you would probably be quicker. It's just not necessary, as you can see, Joe, he's coming up to our inside. He finds a gap on the inside. We don't defend all the way, hoping that it would go on the outside. He gets the inside line, but we're going to get the cut back again, like Leclerc should have done. And on the power pad traction, assisting us there a little bit, getting the run on him. We're going to defend the inside, just in case Joe tries to pop his nose at the inside. We're going to turn down the fuel and ERS so that he has to be on the outside. And there we go, we have defended the position. It's nice driving with Joe. I know we've got a bit of history, to be fair. When I say a bit, I mean it stretches to F1 26, right at the end of F1 2016, so we are quite familiar with our driving styles. We are quite aggressive drivers, but you know, when the game isn't bottling us, we are quite clean competitors. But getting a bit off topic, as you can see, we made a massive error out of turn 1. Joe is popping up our inside, we're squeezing him right to the inside of the track. But he's going to have the inside, he's not going to make the same mistake as he did, so we know that we've got to hang around his outside. He gives us the squeeze, and we're not quite able to get on the power like we did before. But we are going to try and get into the slipstream, into overtake, trying to get the move done. We're going to be on these outside, so it's going to be a little bit hard. Going to give it our best go, but we try and aim for the cutback, but we lost a little bit too much time trying to ease off the power. So Joe has, he's made the position, and now we're going to be under threat from Leopard. I think I did say my pace was starting to suffer a little bit. I was making a couple of mistakes, and I mean, like I said, it was just learning experiences, and then I know that I've got to get the tyres to at least lap 18, perhaps lap 17 if I'm feeling a little bit edgy. But you know, at this point, I was actually kind of welcome Joe coming past. I did prefer to stay in the lead, because then I'm controlling the pace at with my own sort of rhythm of the Grand Prix. But with Joe in the lead, I can sort of afford to save a bit of fuel, perhaps, save for some ERS, and but I've also got to make sure that my engine temps don't go too far through the roof. But as you can see, Leopard, he's a very aggressive driver in his own right. If you know Leopard, you know what he's like. He's pressuring us, so we're going to try and make sure that we don't fall under pressure from him. But we're nearly rear-ending Joe into turn 3, and we've got to allow Leopard through as we just complete why the fuck is that an exceeding track limit warning? I'll never know. But yeah, that was honestly, I broke where I have been braking, and I just the fronts immediately locked up, and you know, when the fronts lock up, you're gonna carry more speed into the corner. There was no stopping my car from hitting the back end of Joe, and I just had to take avoiding action. Just about didn't hit him. But speaking of Joe, he's actually coming into the pits on lap 16 of 36. He's going to take those tyres 20 laps to the end of the race, and this is that's only lap 16. So a little bit risky, a little bit of a frisky decision. And at this point, I was paying no attention to what my tyres were like, because I thought they'd be alright. So as you can see, I think we're going to check just about now. As you can see, 74% on the rear left. Both tyres are above 70% on the rear. So I think that this is the sort of same case as it was on the last game. The pad suffers with more rear tyre I can't get this out. More rear wear, more. You guys know what I mean. And then the wheel will have more front tyre wear. As you can see, I'm trying to check for penalties. Joe hasn't got any, and I'm freaked out trying to get out of the pit. But I think the game sort of did that for me, so I think that might be a little bit of a hack I could do. So I always get the perfect pit exit. As you can see, Joe, he's already come past me, and CRL Marvin, I think that was, I'm not quite sure, and CRG Pinecone have come past on the wet compound tyres, and Miro behind me is also on the wets. So at this point, I'm like, have I bottled this? Have I? Because as you can see, I've come out on inters, and the guys around me are all on wets, and the wet tyres were the better compound at this moment in time. So at this point, I'm breaking it. I'm thinking I've completely cocked this. The race could be over, but I knew the race would come back to me. These guys would have to make another pit stop. As you can see, Leopard, he's also pit for the intermediates, and Joe, if you didn't see, he has also put the intermediates on. But Leopard, we weren't quite able to undercut him. I think our lap was just a little bit too scruffy, you know, coming out of the pits on like fresh inters in comparison to 70% tyre wear. It was a bit of an experience. But I did feel like I was a little bit, I had pace in the tank. I just, you can see, just doing my absolute hardest to just stay on the circuit. But as you can see, skipping on a good few laps later, lap 34, you can see we're actually into P3 now. As you would have guessed, the intermediate tyres, they came back into fruition, and Pinecone and Marvin, I believe that's who it was. Honestly, I couldn't see your name through the preview screen. But the Renault, they had to pit, and they came out a good few seconds behind. They didn't pull out a gap. I think only one of them got ahead of Joe. But and Leopard did manage to overtake Pinecone. But we're gonna come home in P3. It could have been a little bit more, but you know, P3 is a very satisfying result as that's a racing point that's in the wall. But coming around the penultimate corner and into the final corner, we've actually somehow come home in our first league race in F1 2019 with a podium finish. And I was actually very happy about that. That was my first podium in URC in well over a season, I believe. It'd been a while, to say the least. To be on the podium with Joe and Leopard, two of like the best on the game. I'm not so sure Leopard's pace, but I know Joe is very quick. And of course, Leopard being a bit of a merchant, he's going to be putting in the practice, putting in the hours, and he needs to get up to sort of esport level, you could say. But us in the Haas, we have managed to come home for P3 ahead of Morso, who made a very good comeback. Pinecone overkills Marvin, Mira top, and Danny running at the points. Running up the points finishes. That's URC, boys. URC Austria, and yeah, what a race! I think that was a nice little opener to F1 2019 league racing, and let's hope for more races like that. But I'm gonna have to end the video here. But first of all, I wanted to say thank you for all the support in recent weeks on the channel. It's been incredible, and I hope that you guys can stick around for a little bit longer. But thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in my next video. Cheers.
Fresh out East and now I'm waiting on them. Stay on fresh out